Hi, it's Darnell with Waffle Recipes, and today I'm going to be cooking up waffles fresh in the Cuisinart digital air fryer toaster oven. That's right, waffles from an air fryer toaster oven. I'm going to show you how to do that, and we're going to get started right now. Alright, so to make up these fresh waffles, you can use any waffle recipe you please. I've gotten one from off of All Recipes. I'll link in the video description the recipe that I'm using, but use any fresh waffle recipe you please. This will still work out pretty well. And the ingredients for this particular waffle recipe I'm using is called Classic Waffles. I've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I've got 1 teaspoon of salt, kosher salt I'm using. I've got 4 teaspoons of baking powder and 2 tablespoons of sugar. So these are the dry ingredients. I've got wet ingredients that'll be coming up later, but for now I'm going to just mix up these dry ingredients. And once we get all these dry ingredients mixed up, then we'll get, as I mentioned, everything else together. But since there's a bit of stuff to do, I wanted to just do the dry now, and then we'll do the wet in another step. And then, of course, you get that mixing of the dry and the wet together to make your nice batter. And then we'll show you how to do yourself some waffles in an air fryer toaster oven. And you have to have, I don't think this is going to necessarily work out well in a smaller one unless you use a smaller mold. Like I've got a big mold that I'm using to make my waffles. They do have a smaller mold. So if you have one of those small pull-out basket air fryers, you might want to use like a smaller mold like this one and just work your way through that. You'll have to see how that works out for you if you try something like that yourself. But I'm going to be using this one here, and that's how I do mine, because I use a bigger air fryer toaster oven for mine. But whatever you use, you just have to find a mold that's going to work out for yourself and see how that works out. And depending on the cooker you use, sometimes might be a little different, or but overall, from this demonstration, you'll get the idea of how to make up your fresh waffles without a waffle mold or a waffle press. Alright, so we got our dry ingredients together. Now I'm going to start on the wet ingredients. Alright, so now for the wet ingredients, I'm in the process of melting a 1/3 cup of butter. That's 6 tablespoons of butter in here, melting. I've got 2 large eggs here. I've also got a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and I have 1.5 cups of milk. Once this butter gets melted, and even while it's melting, I can mix in my milk. The milk needs to be warmed, so we can mix that in just as the butter finishes melting up, so that the butter and the milk are both warm, and get those just kind of gently mixed together here. And after I get these mixed together, I can take this warm water and this warm this warm butter and this warm milk, and I can mix it into my eggs and get those mixed together. So I think things are almost, I still got a little butter that's not fully melted down, so we'll just give that a moment. Alright, so we got that butter and milk warmed up and mixed together. Now I'm just going to go ahead and mix it into my 2 large eggs. Get those eggs kind of mixed up a bit first. And now I'm going to put my butter-milk mixture in there. Just mix that in. Alright. Get that mixed up well. Now we'll throw our vanilla extract into that mixture of wet ingredients. Mix that up. Now that we've got our wet and dry ingredients together, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the Cuisinart digital air fryer toaster oven, and I'm taking it down to bake, and going to up the temperature to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to up the time just so that I have plenty of time to work with, up to like I'm making it 40 minutes, but you're only going to need like about 8 minutes per set of waffles. So I'm going to hit start, and it's preheating now to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And while that preheats, I'm going to go ahead and take these wet ingredients that I've well mixed together and get them mixed into the dry ingredients now. So pour that on in there, like so. Sorry for that clanging and banging there a little bit. I'm basically just going to get my batter formed together here while things preheat. And I've got my, as you saw up here, my waffle mold. I've got a baking pan, the baking pan for the Cuisinart digital air fryer toaster oven, on the second level up. That's the higher level. There's only two levels in here, the low and the high, and it's on the high level. So that the pan, that stainless steel pan, is preheating, getting real hot during the preheat, so that things on the bottom here will be hitting that real hot pan to make these waffles nice and cooked on both sides. And so we're almost done. You want to make sure that, although it might be a little lumpy, just a little bit, you want to make sure that things are really well mixed together real good for your wet and your dry ingredients, so that you don't have any dry ingredients kind of outstanding, or you don't want any dry flour in your waffle. So just make sure that you mix them together real good. Alright, while things are still preheating, I think I've got my batter well mixed. I've got a half cup scoop here, and I found a half cup is pretty good to ensure that I get a bunch of batter in each mold. This will cover the tops of them. If you want your waffles to be smaller or thinner, you can use like maybe a third of a cup. I like a half, or not necessarily a whole half cup, but about a half a cup. I just use a half cup scoop and try and fill them in. I've used a third cup scoop before, and I just didn't feel I was getting enough in each mold for my liking, but you use as much as you personally prefer for how you want your waffles done. Of course, the timing that I'm using is going to be for the half cup scoops that I'm using. And so we've got all four of these molds filled in. I'm going to get a little more in this one since he's a little short. And these will rise a good bit during the cook. They do rise some, as you will see. So we're just going to wait for this preheat to finish. Alright, our preheat is just finished. So now I'm just going to get things opened up. Going to take this pan, just set it here for ease of placement for a moment, and going to put these real quick on the pan, and then just going to take and open up here. I think I accidentally tapped my time, and well, now I'm just changing my time to 50 minutes so that I have an even amount of time. I accidentally hit the time thing, but now that I've put them in, going to let this run for 6 minutes on this side. So 6 minutes on this side at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'll bring you right back. Alright, 6 minutes have passed. I open up, I get them out. You can see they're really baked on this side, and that's really what we want to have, is that side really well baked. The silicone is hot. You can use some hot gloves if you want. I just use my bare hands and just move fast. Of course I have hot gloves, but for this I just like to, for some reason, just bare hand it. But what you got to do is, you got to knock those waffles off the silicone. So just kind of lift that silicone and pat. And I wouldn't recommend doing it the way I do it. I don't know why I like the way I do it, but I do. And just lift it up by hand, and I just lift it up by hand and just tap. But you put your hot gloves on and tap. Knock those waffles out the mold. Some of them may come out a little better than others, and that's kind of how it goes. Sometimes they come out all four perfect, sometimes they don't. But anyway, putting them back in, give them just 2 more minutes, bring you right back. And I will mention, while these are cooking, of course, while that set is finishing up, you could put some more in to get your next set going. I'm only going to do one set with you here in this demo just to show you, but basically you repeat this process for your other sets till you're done. This much batter makes enough to make between 9 and 10 waffles. So basically it's going to be 2 sets, and then you're going to have some remainder that's going to make like maybe 1 or 2 more. And so you get it between 9 and 10. All right, our time is up. Getting these out. And there they are. There they are, all done. All right, so now I'm going to take and put one on a plate. And we can basically cut inside here. I'll just show you inside, show you it's done. You can see they're fluffy. Fluffy and done. So we're going to do a quick taste test. And I'll just cut another piece off for our taste test, so I'll have a smaller bite. Alright, so let's do a taste test of these homemade waffles from an air fryer toaster oven. Very good waffles. Every time, these waffles turn out great. Now, you might be wondering, well, why didn't I put some syrup on them? Why didn't I throw some strawberries and whipped cream and all that good stuff? And I do later. But for you, I want to check those waffles in the taste test to make sure that they're fully cooked, done just right. If you put syrup on them and something in there might be a little undercooked, you're not going to necessarily be able to tell as well unless you just eat just the waffle by itself, straight up, like I just did. That's why I do the taste test with nothing else on it at all. And so, fully cooked, perfect, just right, 400 degrees, 6 minutes on one side in that waffle mold, flip, take them out of that mold, and let them run for about 2 more minutes on that other side to get that other side, just fully done over, and you're great. It's been working for me perfect in the Cuisinart digital air fryer toaster oven. Of course, depending on the cooker you use, your timing might be a little different. Might take you a few tries just to get it right in your cooker, to get it to your preference. But, work with it, and then you got some good waffles coming out of your air fryer toaster oven all the time, good stuff. So, you can find the printable form of this. There's the full recipe in the video description, also a link to a printable version in the video description. You can find other recipes for air fryers and other cookers on my blog at superwaveovenrecipes.com. You can always come to this YouTube channel for the videos, waveovenrecipes.com. You can also go to my Twitter and Instagram to see Instagram pictures on Instagram. That's Wave Oven Recipes on Instagram. I'm on Twitter at Wave Oven Recipes, and there, usually I'll send out a tweet if I have a new post or a new video going out so that you know about that. Also, in the video description, you'll find links to my Amazon shop that is like a referral shop that you basically pay the same price but help this channel and other things. Also, if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments, hit the notification bell, and good eating.